What if I told you that the most potent mysteries are often hidden in plain sight, not in grand gestures or rare artifacts, but in the quiet, forgotten corners of your own kitchen? There, amidst the jars of ordinary spices, lies a tiny, unassuming key. A dried flower bud so common we overlook its profound secret. This is not about a crystal or an ancient rune, but about the clove. To the untrained eye, it is merely a fragment of flavor, a speck of the past. But to those who remember the old ways, the herbalists, the silent alchemists, the sacred physicians of the East and the jungle shamans, this humble clove is anything but simple. It is a key, a spark of encapsulated plant wisdom. For centuries it has been known by many names: the awakening of the breath, the lance of the digestive fire, the sentinel of the aura. Why? Because behind its intense aroma and penetrating taste lies a powerful vibration that works on both the physical body and the subtle energetic body. Its pointed shape, like a ceremonial dagger, is no accident. It suggests its purpose: to penetrate the dense, to cut through stagnation, to purify from the inside out. And what happens when you chew 2 cloves a day? Modern science will list its antiseptic, antioxidant, and analgesic properties. It will tell you it cleanses the mouth, aids digestion, and regulates blood sugar. But that is merely the visible edge of a much deeper scroll. What few know is that chewing these tiny guardians with intention, with presence, with ritual, can activate inner portals, gateways to a more refined, more awake, more vital energy. This is a deep exploration, a journey between the physical and the spiritual, into what truly occurs when you introduce this simple ritual into your daily life. This is not superstition or an empty home remedy. It is an ancient alchemical practice that has resisted the tide of oblivion. We will delve into its origin and symbolic power in ancient traditions, its energetic action on internal systems, its direct impact on consciousness, intuition, and vibrational cleansing, and how you can begin this path with just 2 cloves a day. So open your senses, for what you are about to discover isn't found in modern textbooks. It is encoded in the wisdom of the plants and in your willingness to listen to what is not said, but deeply felt. Throughout the vast history of humanity, plants have been far more than just food or medicine. To ancient peoples, every root, leaf, and flower was a living entity, endowed with spirit, wisdom, and will. They were not ingredients, they were sacred allies. And among all these botanical beings, few have been as mysterious and revered as the clove. Its origin traces back to the Maluku Islands, also known as the Spice Islands, a remote point on the map where volcanoes whisper secrets to the sea and trees exhale perfume from every leaf. There, the clove was more than a trade commodity. It was a sacred offering used in purification rituals, funeral rites, and ceremonies to unite with the gods of air and fire. In Hindu temples, the sages of Ayurveda included it in secret formulas to awaken Agni, the digestive fire, understood not just as a physical process, but as the spiritual flame that transforms matter into consciousness. In the Taoist tradition, it was used to unblock the flow of stagnant qi in the internal organs. Among Arab alchemists, it was known as al-Qurumful and was attributed with properties to awaken the nafas, the sacred breath that connects humanity to the divine. But it wasn't only revered by mystics and sages. In medieval Europe, the clove was part of the hidden apothecary of witches and herbalists, not as a poison, but as a protective plant against dense entities and low vibrations. Burned as incense, sprinkled on a home's threshold, or chewed in silence before a vision, it was said to protect the aura and expand the intuitive field. Its form, similar to a tiny stake, also granted it a magical symbolism. It was the nail that united the worlds, the earthly with the spiritual, the dense with the subtle. The mouth, upon chewing it, became a sanctuary of fire and aroma, a channel through which the medicine of the spirit entered the temple of the body. In many African cultures, its use was not limited to the physical body. It was offered in rituals to open spiritual paths, to cleanse thoughts, or even to seal sacred pacts. And in traditional Chinese medicine, its warm, penetrating, and aromatic energy was ideal for awakening dormant yang, reviving inner will, and clearing the mind of lethargy. Over time, its use shifted toward the culinary, the mundane, the decorative, and thus the clove fell into oblivion, as happens with many things that are too powerful for those who have stopped listening. Today, however, there are those who are remembering. There are those who chew not for taste but for intention, who seek not an immediate benefit, but a deeper attunement with the ancient codes of the earth. When you chew a clove, you are not just activating a plant, you are awakening a contained intelligence. It is as if you are pressing a forgotten alchemical seal, its power releasing in your mouth like a wave of subtle fire. But what truly happens within you when you do this? To understand, one must first grasp something essential. The human body is not just flesh and bone. It is an energetic temple where multiple layers vibrate at different frequencies. The physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. Each of these layers responds to substances, sounds, symbols, and also to plants. The clove, upon entering through the mouth, activates three fundamental centers. First, the oral fire, the activation of the word and intention. It all begins on the tongue, that muscle which not only articulates words, but creates reality through sound. The intense, penetrating taste of clove is no coincidence. According to energy medicine, that which stimulates the extreme nerve endings of the tongue awakens the meridians of the heart, stomach, and spleen, creating a micro-shock that opens the subtle channels of inner communication. This stimulus sends a signal to the brain, not just to secrete saliva, but to activate a state of meditative alertness. Something awakens. A small fire is lit, as if a torch is raised within the skull, clearing mental cobwebs, elevating perception, and facilitating presence. Second, the digestive alchemy, a purifying fire in the solar plexus. When you swallow the oil and essences released by the clove, its warmth descends into the body's center. In the ancient language, this is the home of the hara, the nucleus of will, action, and transmutation. There, the clove acts as a sentinel of the digestive fire, rekindling Agni, the sacred flame of internal transformation, allowing food to be digested not just physically, but energetically. This is vital because we do not only digest food, we digest emotions, thoughts, and experiences. If your internal fire is weak, everything stagnates. But with clove, what was asleep awakens. What was blocked begins to move. Third, the subtle field, vibrational cleansing and protection. Beyond the physical body exists the aura, an electromagnetic field that interacts with the environment, absorbing or repelling energies. Clove, being a plant of warm vibration, expands and strengthens this field. Some compare it to a shield of golden fire, an ethereal flame that dissolves energetic larvae, obsessive thoughts, and dense presences. Those who use it daily report improvements not only in physical energy, but also in emotional clarity, in their ability to stay focused, centered, and less vulnerable to external energies. And here the true mystery begins. The more constant its use, the deeper its effect. It doesn't just clean you, it reconfigures you as if the clove possesses an ancestral cellular memory that enters into a dialogue with your energetic body to remind it of who it is and why it is here. Chewing 2 cloves a day is not a trend. It is a ritual, a silent ceremony between you and the plant intelligence that has accompanied humanity since time immemorial. And in this dance between the physical and the subtle, a possibility opens, the chance to rekindle the inner sacred fire that has been extinguished by distraction, overstimulation, and spiritual forgetfulness. In the realm of sacred plants, some shout, others whisper, and a few sing in a tone that can only be heard by those who have purified their inner ear. The clove belongs to this last category. It is subtle but precise. It is humble but possesses the power of the guardians. We have seen how it acts on the physical and energetic body, but now we enter invisible territory, into what we might call the hidden alchemy of clove. Because when it becomes a conscious habit, chewing 2 cloves a day with intention, presence, and openness, effects begin to reveal themselves that cannot be explained by conventional science. One of the most enigmatic aspects of clove is its impact on the superior nervous system. Many mystics maintain that its essential oil contains a warm, penetrating vibration that stimulates the pineal and pituitary glands. These glands, associated with the third eye chakra, are seen in esoteric traditions as the inner eyes, the senses of transcendent perception. Those who practice deep meditation while slowly chewing cloves claim to enter altered states of consciousness, lucid dreams, and symbolic visions more easily, not through hallucination, but because the clove dissipates mental fog, clears blocked zones of thought, and lets in the light from higher realms. Here we are not just talking about mental clarity, but about vibrational clairvoyance, the ability to perceive truths that come not through the eyes, but through intuition. In many ancient cultures, it was said that clove expelled demons, not just as a dramatic image, but as a metaphor for the process of psychic purification. Those demons were repetitive thoughts, trapped emotions, and destructive habits that take root in the emotional body and intoxicate it. When you introduce the vibration of clove daily, and do it with consciousness, its fire begins to rise from the stomach to the throat, burning away little by little the invisible chains that bind you to the past. Some days may feel like relief, others like a confrontation with the repressed. It is all part of the process. The clove does not sedate, it awakens. There are even records in ancient texts that certain initiations included clove as preparation for shadow rituals, those in which the initiate had to see and embrace their deepest wound to be reborn. Every human being emits an energetic signature, a kind of vibrational fingerprint that accompanies them wherever they go. This imprint is composed of thoughts, emotions, habits, and cellular memories. Clove, by interacting with your biofield repeatedly, can begin to modify that imprint. It is as if its fire writes new letters on the hidden parchment of your aura, freeing you from dense frequencies, helping you to vibrate higher, cleaner, more coherently. This reprogramming does not happen overnight, but its constancy is its power. 2 cloves a day, no more, no less. We could say that clove is an alchemical microdose of spiritual transmutation. In a world obsessed with excess, with grand remedies and quick fixes, clove acts as a silent master. It reminds you that real transformation happens in the small, in the everyday, in the ritual acts you perform without any need for spectacle. Chewing 2 cloves a day is like lighting a small candle before the altar of the soul. Day after day, that candle illuminates what was once hidden, and in that fire you rediscover yourself. In a world saturated with stimuli, techniques, and promises of express healing, returning to simplicity may seem too basic or even naive, but it is precisely in the simple where the most potent things are hidden, and clove is living proof of this. Its wisdom lies not in spectacularity, but in its constancy, in its discreet daily alchemy. Let me share some guidance for integrating the power of clove into your life as a tool for energetic transformation and awakening of consciousness. First, make the ritual a bridge, not an automatic habit. Do not chew the clove as if it were just another piece of gum. Before placing it in your mouth, observe it. Hold it between your fingers. Feel its texture, its aroma, honor its provenance. A floral bud that traveled from plant wisdom into your hands. This gesture of attention transforms it into a ceremonial act. Before chewing, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what do I wish to transmute today? What do I want to release or awaken within me? Intention is the magic wand of the esoteric practitioner. No plant works if the soul is absent. Consciousness is the secret ingredient that awakens the spirit of the medicine. Second, choose the hours of greatest receptivity. Although you can chew cloves at any time, there are moments when their power is magnified. Right upon waking, the body is still between worlds, not fully in the physical nor the subtle. In that morning limbo, the clove can help establish a high vibrational frequency for the entire day. Another potent time is at sunset, when the sun descends and the energy shifts polarity. In that instant, the clove acts as a purifier of the mental excess accumulated during the day. Third, listen to your body's messages. Although it is a safe, powerful, and ancient plant, clove does not act the same in every person. Some feel internal heat, others an emotional expansion. Some experience lucid dreams. Pay attention to the signals your body and psyche deliver. They are the subtle language of the soul in response to the plant. If you feel discomfort, reduce the dose. If you feel openness, observe what is being revealed. The important thing is not to expect it to cure you of something. Instead, Observe how it accompanies you to heal from within. Fourth, combine it with practices that enhance it. Clove is an activator. You can amplify its effect if you combine it with practices like conscious breathing, silent meditation, or mantras, visualization of purifying fire, spiritual reading, or writing in an introspection journal. This is not a supplement, it is a natural oracle, and if you use it in context, it can open you more than you imagine. In summary, it is not just about chewing. It is about opening a sacred dialogue between you and the forces of the earth. A small act repeated with reverence can become the portal to a new version of yourself. Throughout this journey, we have descended into the hidden heart of a small dried flower. We have explored its sacred history, its internal alchemy, and its resonance with the subtler planes of being. But beyond all explanation, something essential remains to be remembered. The true power is not in the clove, but in your willingness to awaken. Yes, it is true that chewing 2 cloves a day can improve your digestion, strengthen your immune system, and cleanse your breath. But what this act truly does, when performed with consciousness and reverence, is remind you that you are inhabiting a living temple, that everything you place in your body nourishes not only your cells, but also your energy, your spirit, your vibrational field. The clove is not a magic pill or a shortcut. It is a spark, a seed of fire that, when lit daily, helps you sustain a higher, purer, more awakened vibration. And in a world like ours, full of dense stimuli, soulless food, looping thoughts, and disordered energies, this small spark can make the difference between living on autopilot or walking as a conscious being. Behind its intense aroma, its pointed shape, and its fiery taste, the clove reminds you of an ancient truth. The sacred does not always present itself as grand. Sometimes the most sacred disguises itself as small, everyday, simple. And if you are not present, it passes you by. You decide if this practice will be a soulless habit or a transformative ritual. You decide if the clove will be just another spice or a tool to awaken your dormant energy. Perhaps the greatest gift this flower can give you is the return to yourself, to your fire, to your center, to your vibrant silence. And just as the ancient sages did not need stone temples to connect with the divine because they knew the real temple was within, you too need nothing more than presence, intention, and 2 small cloves. So the next time you hold one between your fingers, remember, you are not chewing a plant, you are chewing a pact, a silent agreement with the earth, with your soul, with your path back home. May the fire of the clove ignite your awareness, may its warmth purify your intention, and may its presence accompany you on the path toward a more vibrant, more aligned, more awakened life.